Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Friday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Glenn Rashipura.
And I'm Esther Kamati.
It's great to have you on the show. I understand this is your first sunset for the year.
It is. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you. Now, getting into the news tonight, Midco has insisted that according to its records, it generated more than $6.5 billion in revenue, excluding from heights between 2018 and 2023. This after a recent analysis by the Bank of Namibia revealed that between 2018 and 2023, Midco undersold meat products it exported by $4 billion Namibian dollars. Now, data for the past 6 years indicated that Midco exported 53.3 million kilograms of meat priced at $2.1 billion Namibian dollars. The report claims that Midco generated $2.1 billion Namibian dollars, which is less than 50% of the total revenue generated by all meat exporters, Midco said in a letter seen by Namibian Sun. Now, the correct figure of $6.5 billion Namibian dollars is in line with our assertion that Midco generates the most revenue for the livestock industry. Midco stressed that its overall realization is driven by maximizing returns per cut per market, which is achieved by consigning different cuts to different markets. Agriculture Minister Kalesh Laitwan yesterday confirmed that a probe is underway at Midco amid allegations of gross mismanagement at the export company. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think Midco is in trouble?
I think there definitely are issues at Midco, starting from a while ago. Even last year, there was a conversation mainstreaming about how Midco should consider being privatized, and there have been cash flow issues, there have been mismanagement allegations. So I think a full-on audit of the SOE is definitely necessary, and just to put measures in place to ensure that it's actually turning and it's actually profitable instead of just reports here and there which are in fact clashing. So an audit is definitely required there.
I also say that, but would you also agree that we should privatize it, or it should become privatized?
I certainly don't feel like privatization is necessarily the way to go, because when it's state-owned, the nation as a whole have this sense of ownership. They have this sense of at least something is there for them, for the people, whereas when it's privatized, it's more of like a corporate event and the public isn't really involved. They feel like they're not really benefiting. So I feel like the government should definitely do all they can to sustain it, but certainly measures need to be put in place. I think a complete restructuring, or not completely, but to a certain amount of restructuring is necessary to ensure that the company is actually being well managed amid all these allegations.
All right. Now, getting into our next story, the acting regional commander in the Kavango East region, Deputy Commissioner Eno Nambahu, says that the region finds itself grappling with overcrowded holding cells, aging police vehicles used to ferry inmates, and crumbling infrastructure. Nambahu made these remarks during a recent visit on the state of the police cells and barracks by the Foreign Affairs, Defense and Security Parliamentary Standing Committee. Let's take a look.
Having altogether 394 trial-awaiting inmates in a region, 394, and this number is fluctuating time and then, because as we are taking them to court, some are being given bail and some are being sentenced and we to ferry them to the mine correctional facility. However, with the crime that is also popping up time and then we get to make effect arrests, unless we are affecting arrests again, with the number increases, So there was no time that our number was very less in terms of inmates. It's always higher. And looking to the capacity or the cell capacity, they are very full beyond their initial number. They are very full. Allow me to just give a breakdown as per the stations. Starting with the Rondo Police Station. Rondo Police Station cell capacity is 100. The cell capacity for Rondo itself is 100. However, we are beyond today, as we are talking today, we are beyond with 170. So we got 220 inmates. 270. 270 minus 100 means we are over with 170. Whereas on the Yona police station, the cell capacity is 80. And here we are safe, we got 56 inmates. 56. Yeah, the cell capacity is 80. However, we have 56. Whereas Omega police station, the cell capacity is 8. And with Omega, we normally don't have a lot of crime that side. It's the very station in Bobata area. So we have very less crime reported, despite the station which is at its state of art. I wish I could have a big space so I can bring it down here. So we have 8 inmates today with Omega police station. While the Vundu police station, the capacity is 30.
Commissioner,
Sir,
we've got 8 inmates.
you got 8
What's
inmates.
The capacity
The capacity of Omega is 30.
30.
Yes, but we have only 8 inmates this time around. So normally what we do is once we observe that the number is increasing in other stations, we shift them to Omega, especially those that days of trial, appearance is a little bit far. And the Vundu police station, the cell capacity is 30. And we are over with 30 means we are having 60 inmates today. The Mokwe police station, they don't have folding cells. But I believe, I don't know whether the honorable members have already passed Mokwe. Not yet. Yeah, while at Mokwe, I could tell that Mokwe is one of the oldest police stations in the region. Very, very old. And it was constructed in prefab materials. But as we are talking now, that particular station is in a very inhuman habitation. The habitation is it's not recommendable. Only the whole station, it's not recommendable for women habitation. Despite the two structures which is accommodation, the station itself, the police station itself, I don't know, it's not just, I think something needs to be done.
Now, this is definitely a concerning problem. What do you think can be done to mitigate something like this?
The obvious solution is to build more prisons, but obviously that might take some time. So hopefully, I don't know, because we've been hearing cases of overcrowded prisons for quite some time now, but we're not hearing solutions from the lawmakers. I feel this is a fitting time for the Ministry of Defense to come through with a solution and let us know what the way forward is, because this also becomes very difficult to mitigate issues like we saw when COVID came into Namibia. One of the places where it spread very quickly was the prisons, because obviously it's overcrowded.
Totally. I know that, you know what I mean, like there's a lot of crime happening, but I don't think we understand that the crime rate in Namibia is going up. But this, I feel like, is a direct result of that, you know, where the prisons and, you know, all these facilities are becoming overcrowded.
Certainly.
Now, getting into our next story, the Ministry of Works and Transport, John Mutora, just concluded a joint communique meeting with Botswana on the Trans-Kalahari Railway. The construction on the project is set to start in 2025 with an estimated completion time to be in 2029. Let's take a look.
2014 already, the governments of the Republic of Botswana and the Republic of Namibia, after a series of discussions, concluded those discussions by signing an agreement with regard to the investigating the possibility of constructing a railway line from the sovereign territory of Botswana, which railway line, once it is feasible and practically implemented, will link with the railway line on the Namibian side in Kobabes, probably also upgrade that one, with the final destination of Walvis Bay. Now, in that agreement, there are certain structures established.
Now, the Ochomwise homes built under the Mayor's housing project initiated by former President Hifikepunye Pohamba remain unoccupied, serving as spots for undesirable activities. Landless individuals threaten to occupy the houses if not allocated by February 29th. Despite being fully furnished, missing items may require additional funds if allocated. The Mayor's housing program, launched in 2013, aimed to address Namibia's housing backlog, but faced challenges. The current situation results from a legal dispute between the construction company Calgro Kumba and the government over a payment of $40 million Namibian. The company, having won in court, urges questions to be directed at the government. As the deadline approaches, the fate of these houses remains uncertain. Urban and Rural Development Minister Erastus Utoni said there are legal processes holding up the handover of the houses to the government. There are some few legal issues that need to be sorted out first, he said. Activist Michael Amushelelo said he had been approached by scores of people asking why they must continue paying high rental fees when the government has unoccupied houses. People have been sending me pictures of the unoccupied houses. We are giving all the relevant authorities until the 29th of February to ensure that these empty houses have owners. Failure to comply will result in the people organizing ourselves and go occupy these houses, he said. We're doing this because government only listens when there is public pressure. Do you agree with that sentiment, that the government only listens when there is public pressure?
I don't think they only listen when there's public pressure, but certainly if there is dissatisfaction amongst the public, then obviously they raise their concerns, and through that it's accelerated quicker to the necessary bodies. This is rather a sad situation considering Namibia's housing issue, and this has been years and years that these houses haven't been occupied, whereas people are put on long waiting lists. People are told that they can't have land and they are living under dire circumstances when there's actually a project that is supposed to push for these people to get housing and accommodation and so forth, but yet these houses remain unoccupied. I feel government certainly owes the people an explanation, and not just an explanation, but of course speedy action as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I should also, pack my bags and on the 29th, plan to move into this
I don't
houses.
think that's wise.
Of course it's not wise, but the rental prices are high and people do have, valid concerns and reasons to want to, move into these houses. So it's, like you said, it's rather unfortunate because this was meant to, cater to people. Thank you so much for your time, Esther Kamati.
Thank you for having me.
Now, after the break, we'll be taking a look at our story of the day.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Now, Benita Isheka represented Namibia well during the Young Chef Olympiad, which is taking place in India. Her mentor, Terry Jenkinson, gives us an update.
So it's the end of the day here in Calcutta. Namibia and Mexico were teamed up to compete in the Dr. Boss Challenge, which consisted of a mystery basket of ingredients where the two competitors had to work together to create a street food dish of any sort, size, type that they would feel comfortable cooking. They were given an hour to complete the task after having 40 minutes to come up with a dish along with the mentors who could assist in and advise. And we've just completed it. The feedback has been good so far, and we're holding thumbs that Benita comes home with something, and we're confident that she is going to do well, and she will come home with an award or a prize of some sort. So hold thumbs for us. Tomorrow night tomorrow is the cook-off for the plates and the trophy rounds, and on Sunday evening, after a day full of events, sustainability march and food soldier event where participants and mentors will be involved in the handing out of meals to less privileged, will be the closing ceremony, and on Monday everyone will be making their way back to their countries. So let's hold thumbs and keep our hopes up high that Benita will do well.
After the break, we'll be taking a look at our Market Watch contribution.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
In our economic news, the number of fraudulent investment scam activities targeting and using references to the government, its ministries, offices and agencies is increasing, the Bank of Namibia said this morning. Expressing its concern, the bank has identified fraudulent investment scam activities offering unsolicited financial assistance to fund Namibia's developmental initiative, with perpetrators applying particular focus on senior public figures, high-ranking government officials, politicians, and civil servants to promote the fraudulent scam, the bond said in a statement. The perpetrators of these schemes claims to be in possession of large investment funds valued in the millions and billions of US dollars or euro, or a combination of both, which they claim will be used to finance Namibia's development and support mega construction projects, the central bank added. Purported investment documentation presented by the perpetrators include, among others, forged copies of SWIFT money transfers and/or forged payment transactions and/or both to local commercial banks. Let's take a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.80, against the euro at 20.32, against the US dollar at 18.83. $2 Namibian and 62 cents gets you one Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, all major commodities went down, with Brent crude oil trading at 1.03%, going for $78 per barrel. Next up is our international news, but first, a quick ad break.
E-ticket. your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nhh.com.na.
A huge gas blast in the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, has killed at least 3 people and injured nearly 300. A lorry carrying gas exploded in Embakasi district at about 23:30, igniting a huge ball of fire, a government spokesperson said. Housing, businesses and cars were damaged, with videos showing a huge blaze raging close to blocks of flats. After the break, we'll be getting into our weather predictions. Getting right into our weather predictions, Katima Mulilo can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius. Oshakati can expect some showers with a minimum of 22 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 32 degrees Celsius. Handys Bay can also expect some showers with a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. And Rehoboth can also expect some showers with a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 29 degrees Celsius. After this short break, we'll be getting into our sporting news.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with English Premier League first. There were a few games played before the weekend's action, and it was Manchester United that played against Wolverhampton. A very exciting game, Manchester United winning it by 4-3. That game was played at Wolverhampton. Exciting game with 2 goals in injury time. It was in the 95th minute Wolverhampton that made the score 3-3, but then it was in the 98th minute it was Kobe Mainoo that scored for Manchester United to make the score 4-3 in favour of Manchester United. Important win for Manchester United. They keep in touch in the top 8, trying to still reach out for the top 4, and they're 7th at the moment on 35 points. Wolverhampton, they dropped down to 11th. They've got 29 points. Another game played yesterday was West Ham and Bournemouth that played were 1-1 draw. And a big game on Sunday that's coming up in the English Premier League is Arsenal that will play against Liverpool. It will be played at Arsenal. And then on Monday it is Manchester City, the defending champions, and they will be away at Brentford. Continuing international sports news with Formula 1 racing news, and the big news that was announced by Ferrari and Mercedes-Benz is that Lewis Hamilton will race for Ferrari from the 2025 season. So this year, 2024, still racing for Mercedes-Benz, but then switching over on a multi-year deal to Ferrari in 2025. It is Lewis Hamilton that's 39 years old, and he's been 11 years at Mercedes-Benz. Very successful at Mercedes-Benz, a tough past 3 years when Red Bull dominated, but he won 7 World Championships for Mercedes-Benz. And it is for Ferrari, it is Carlos Sainz that will have his last seasons this year. His contract ends with Ferrari, Carlos Sainz, and he's making space then for Lewis Hamilton. And Lewis Hamilton will join up then with Charles Leclerc as the 2 drivers for Ferrari in the 2025 season. And also news from the Japanese Grand Prix, it will be at Suzuka till 2029, so a 5-year extension that the Japanese Grand Prix reached with Formula 1. The first race of the 2024 season will be on the 2nd of March at Bahrain. And to close off today's international sports news, it is cricket news. It was the second test between India and England that started today. That was at Visakhapatnam, and it was India that won the toss. They decided to bat first. It's always a good decision in India, normally a spinner's wicket, and India doing well on day one. They reached 336 for the loss of 6 wickets. That's a close of play on the first day. The big run scorer for India, opening batsman Yashvi Jaiswal, and Yashvi Jaiswal, he scored 179 unbeaten runs. He batted for the whole day. So India 336 for the loss of 6 wickets after day one. And also the first of 3 50-over ODIs, one-day international nationals started in Australia. Australia hosting the West Indies. West Indies batting first, scoring 231, and then Australia winning the game. They got the runs for just a loss of 2 wickets. They won by 8 wickets, and it's Australia that reached 232 for the loss of 2 wickets, with Steve Smith scoring 79 runs. The second ODI, 50-over ODI, will be played on Sunday. That will be in Sydney. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day and sport weekend, and we talk international sport again on Monday. Goodbye.
With that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Thank you for joining Sunset News on this lovely Friday evening. From me, Glenn Rashipura. Until next time.